Obsession, it's a funny thing. It can just show up uninvited, completely rearrange your world, and demand absolutely everything you've got. For one person, it all started with a single YouTube video, and somehow it ended with him building a burger empire. So, that's the real question here, isn't it? How on earth does a high school kid, feeling totally invisible and barely scraping by with a 1.7 GPA, go on to build a viral brand before he can even legally have a drink? Well, the answer, when you boil it all down, is just one word: obsession.
All right, let's dive into section 1, the fire called obsession. I mean, look at this contrast. On one hand, you have this kid who felt like a nobody, who really didn't like who he was. And on the other, you've got the founder of Smashers, a brand that is built to be loud and completely impossible to ignore. This is a story of a total 180-degree transformation.
That 1.7 GPA, it wasn't just a bad grade. It was a symptom of him feeling completely lost. He moved to a new school, his social life kind of tanked, and he just withdrew from everything. He even said it himself. I just wasn't a fan of myself. And that deep, deep insecurity, that's what ended up becoming his rocket fuel. And right in the middle of all that chaos, he stumbles across this idea. The idea that taking on a massive responsibility, literally finding the heaviest weight you can carry, could be the way out. It was like it gave him a name for something he was already feeling deep down, that hard work could literally save him.
And then this happens. He clicks on a totally random YouTube video, and it's like a switch just flips in his brain. For the next 6 months, all he does is obsessed over perfecting that one burger, night after night. This was it. This was his starting pistol.
Okay, on to section 2. This one's called 90 Rejections, 1 Yes. He kicked things off with a $40,000 loan from his parents. Now, they were entrepreneurs themselves, so they totally understood the risks involved. With that money, he bought a food trailer and just got to work. And this part is so crucial. That insecurity he had in high school, it didn't just go away. It transformed. It converted into these insanely high standards for his product. It was like if his own identity was on the line with every sale, then every single burger had to be perfect. And that's what pushed him through these brutal 80-hour work weeks. So after proving the concept with the trailer, he wanted a real restaurant. And this number, that's how many commercial realtors he cold called. And you can just imagine the response. They all told him he was too young, that he wasn't serious enough. The answer was almost always a hard no. And then came the most brutal rejection of them all. One realtor looked him dead in the eye and said this to his face, a moment of pure humiliation that turned into pure fuel. He went home, felt small, then he got mad, and then he just thought, okay, I'll remember this. All right, next up, section 3, and I love this one, Operation Trojan Burger. So what was this audacious plan? It was absolutely wild. He gets a job at his biggest competitor, Five Guys, to learn their entire system from the inside out. He worked every shift, soaked up their training videos like a sponge, and the final move, poach their best manager. And the crazy part is, he actually did it. He pulled it all off. So, the big question, did it work? Well, in the very first month his brick-and-mortar restaurant was open, his team sold this many burgers. 12,728. He said it was like trying to ride a tornado and mop the floor at the same time. Just pure amazing chaos. And just to put that into perspective for you, if you do the napkin math, just on burgers and fries, that's over $160,000 in revenue in a single month. From day one, he was running a multi-million-dollar business. The obsession was, well, it was clearly paying off, big time. Let's move on to section 4. The weirdness that went viral. This quote he heard from Tyler, the creator, was a total wake-up call. It's like, why would you pour your entire soul into something and then just be passive about promoting it? He realized he couldn't be too cool for his own work. He had to be loud about it. His whole strategy just boiled down to this: be interesting or be invisible. So he threw out all the safe, polished pictures of burgers and started making these weird, kind of risky video skits. He even staged a fake robbery of his own restaurant for a video. And get this, it brought in over 200 new customers. He learned a huge lesson. Being obscure is way more expensive than being a little cringy. Okay, final section. Section 5, an operator's philosophy.
See, he is a real student of the greats, and he built a simple playbook. From Raising Cane's, he learned, do one thing and do it better than absolutely everyone else. From Chick-fil-A, he learned to protect the brand by owning his stores, not getting into sloppy franchising. When you boil it all down, it's about a relentless, obsessive focus on quality. And this brings us full circle, right back to that realtor who shot him down. This was Henry's internal response to that guy. And he says that fuel, that chip on his shoulder from every single doubter, it still burns today. So really, when you get right down to it, this whole story is about the difference between love and obsession. Love is giving something your attention, but obsession, well, that's attention that just refuses to blink.
Henry Smith, the kid with a 1.7 GPA, found the heaviest rock he could possibly carry, and he built an entire life around it. He proved that a single, focused promise can completely change who you are. So the only question left to ask is, what's your rock?